Greetings to you, my friends. I am Mezemir Girma with the Pan-African Book Review. Today I am reviewing the book, The Medical History of Menilek II, Emperor of Ethiopia, A Case of Medical Diplomacy, written by Prouty Rosenfeld. This book is a critical one because it fills the gaps that we have in our history lessons with regard to what happened to Emperor Menilek in his final years and finally before his death. Menilek from his youth had health problems, so for these health problems it was Italians who helped him. Italian doctors in Showa before he became emperor treated him, but Emperor Johannes told him to expel the Italians, but Menilek did not. These Italian doctors were not only doctors, they were also diplomats and expeditors of guns. So, medical diplomacy during that time was not only a way to treat the monarch or the royal family, but a way also to get political advantage. There were 4 or 5 embassies in Addis Ababa after Menilek was crowned emperor who were treating him. After Emperor Johannes died, Menilek became emperor in 1889. In the ensuing years, there came the Wuchale Treaty between Ethiopia and Italy, and there was also the cattle disease which was brought by the Italians from India, which eliminated the cattle of the country and affects the agriculture immensely and causes the death of a third of the population. After the Adwa victory, which was won by Ethiopia under the leadership of Menilek, what followed is the Russians came for medical missions. 3 months after the Adwa victory, the American Robert Skinner, who was the leader of the envoy coming from France to Ethiopia, gave his commentary that the Russians had a huge presence regarding medication and treatment in Ethiopia. The British also opened a medical facility in Addis. There were the Italians and the French and the Germans. So a lot of doctors from different embassies with different interests were there. These doctors would report to their ministers or ambassadors who would channel the message to their respective Ministry of Foreign Affairs in their countries. Menilek was really incurable long before the doctors reached, but the doctors tried their best. Menilek also believed in Western medication. The problem was penicillin was not discovered that time, but it could have reversed his medical situation had it been applied. Menilek's health problem was the invasion of his central nervous system, and that affected or resulted in cerebral thrombosis, which killed him. There are a few issues that we have to consider with this introduction. Menilek did not only use European treatment, he also used local treatment like hot springs and bloodletting. Bloodletting, by the way, is also known outside of Ethiopia. At that time, it was being practiced. Menilek had different symptoms. For example, he could not converse on the same subject for long due to the illness. He was not walking properly. He had paralysis. For the working purpose, he was using 2 canes. This is during his final years. Previously, he was doing okay. And also, he had paralysis, as I said. He had gastrointestinal troubles. These doctors, who was, for example, Dr. Vitalian, who was awarded authority to negotiate on behalf of Ethiopia on the continuation of the Franco-Ethiopian Railway, were both doing political things and also medical things. His mouth was askew, and also he dragged his leg. Menilek had this problem. The doctor were helping. This same doctor who was gaining the representation for this railway issue blamed Menilek because bleeding was that time one of the ways to treat people. He was also asked for advice. These doctors were asked for advice. Menilek asked him whether Europeans have a solution when they don't have an heir or when they have a young heir. Menilek had a young heir in Lijiyasu, his grandson. So the doctor told him, in Europe, what the emperor would do is assign somebody to coach him. So Menilek would assign Rasta Manado as a regent for Lijiyasu. There are problems that did not solve the problem, but Menilek tried to put that temporary problem. There was a cat with slit eyes and tail cut found at the palace. In the palace grounds, they found, and people think that was the culprit for Menilek's illness. There were such local considerations to his illness. There was the issue of the electric machine. Faraday's machine was invented that time and it came to Ethiopia. A doctor brought it and he shocked him 4 times. To no avail, it did not save him. They kept that treatment because the other doctors said so. Later, a German doctor would bring it. He would bring the machine, but after 2 times of shocking Menilek, it didn't work. What did the doctor say? The doctor would say Menilek was poisoned without adequate evidence. He said Menilek was poisoned. He even pointed out Mulugeta and Metafera. They were summoned at the presence of all the doctors. But during the day of the appointment, that doctor was not around and he could not verify his claims by presenting his evidence. He did not. So, the royal food tasters were doing okay. For this reason, Menilek was not poisoned. So that claim of the doctor must have been an invention of himself. So these competing embassies, what did they do? One of them treats him with a certain medication, the other does another way of diagnosis, and also different things happened. Finally, Menilek wanted to take Holy Communion, and he went to the holy water at the famous monastery of Debre Libanos. Did that change things? That did not change things. The doctor during that time, Dr. Marab, he went to Debre Libanos with Menilek and the 8,000 entourage of Menilek. 8,000 people. He disagreed with the empress whether to bring Menilek back to Addis Ababa or not. The doctor really wanted to go back. The Menilek wanted to go back to Addis, but the empress did not agree. Even before this time, when he came from Ntoto, the mountainous place, from the Raguel church, Menilek collapsed, and Dr. Vitalian was called, and he treated him. And Menilek told him to keep that secret, to avoid internal disorder. Menilek was fearful of this. He was meeting his people during holidays, New Year and other holidays, so that he calms the situation down. There is also his plea, Menilek's plea to his people, to his doctors. What he said was heartbreaking. It was a heartbreaking plea. Don't let me die. I have so much to do before dying. What do you think Menilek wanted to accomplish before dying? Yes, he died. Did those things Menilek planned, those good things he wanted Ethiopia to get, did they really come about? Now I leave you with that question. I hope you'll have a say on this regard. What did Menilek want to be achieved? And do you think Menilek's vision has been accomplished? And did those embassies, European embassies, achieve what they wanted through the medical diplomacy? This is the first one of my Pan-African book reviews. I will come with other book reviews in the coming days, weeks, months, and years. And send me any book so that I will review it within a day and come up with a review, a video review. Thank you.